Jordan Fuller, the leader of the group, based on just experience right now. Those guys go out and do a tremendous job in practice, just practicing hard, finishing drills, and just doing everything to the best of their ability, and the rest of the group follows along and takes it from that point.
Coach Leffler was in here talking about how important it is to get some depth at that position. That he thought you guys played Isaiah too much last year. What do you see in terms of options for depth at that position?
We're working on that right now. I think guys are starting to gain some confidence. Some guys that didn't play a whole lot last year, guys that redshirted, they're starting to learn the offense and get out there and get full speed live reps. So that's what we're evaluating right now, trying to figure out who's going to be a guy that can step in and fill a role and be the next guy up.
Anybody impress you or encourage you so far? I know it's early on.
It's too early on to tell, but those guys, Jalen Bradshaw, who redshirted last year, the redshirt freshman, Deion Newsom, Dimitri Knowles, all those guys are coming along. Kevin Asante, who's been on the roster for a while, finally fighting over an injury. Those guys are starting to come along and get some confidence out there the more we practice.
What have you thought about Asante? Just because I know he, took some time away from the team and I guess injuries. Does he look like he's behind it all, or is he kind of one of the guys in the forefront right now?
He understands the offense. He's been around this program for a while under Coach Leffler's leadership. He's a big physical receiver, so he's going to be a guy who's definitely in the mix for getting some game time.
In the offseason, Leffler said blocking is going to be your major focus this spring. Are you doing extra stuff with that? What do you kind of work with him there?
Well, we're out there 15, 20 minutes early before practice even starts, so we're working on extra drills, and we stay back as well. That's why I'm here kind of late today. We stay back post-practice, and we're working on all kinds of technique, and just blocking is an effort thing. So I'm always watching more so run game than I am pass game right now, just to make sure I emphasize that we're blocking every single play.
Dimitri Knowles has been a guy that's sort of been like kind of a one-trick pony. He's fast, and that was it. Have you seen him take another elevation in his game? Does he have more to it now?
I think he's starting to come along after practice 4 here. I think he's starting to come along. He's a guy who runs track, and that's obviously not a very physical sport. But I'm trying to get him to learn that football is, and keep coming along in that aspect of it. And if he keeps doing that, I think the sky's the limit for Dimitri.
Did you go back and review Ford and Phillips? Did you watch their game film, or how do you kind of learn about the guys you've got?
I've watched the game film prior to spring ball starting, and also when I first got hired here. I basically watched every single game front to back, so I can get my own evaluation, without being unbiased or hearing from anybody else. And I kind of gain my own opinion of those guys. And what I do is try to make sure that they are improving on their weaknesses and turn those weaknesses into strengths. That's kind of what we work on every day.
Was it fun watching those guys knowing they were just freshmen?
That's the good thing about it. When you're coaching them and you're hard on them, you still got to keep it in the back of your head that these guys are only 19 years old. And, the sky's the limit for those guys because their whole career's ahead of them.
What's been the process? What's the process been like as far as getting to know all of those guys and them getting to know you, and I guess everyone getting comfortable?
Well, we're going to do things where, off the field, where we talk about everything besides football, just to try to develop a relationship amongst each other, so they can get to know me, I can get to know them. So when I'm yelling at them or trying to get the most out of them out on the field, that they understand that I still care about them, but I want them to be the best.
Does lack of size on the outside concern you? How can you play to your players' strengths when you don't have the big play receiver?
Well, I think we have some wrinkles in our offense, and the ability to be able to move guys around and get people in position where we need a big physical receiver out wide, but we have adjustments in our offense where we're able to line up whoever we may want out there and get a matchup or create a matchup that we want. So that's not something I worry about. I think as time goes along, these guys will get more physical, and we won't be answering those type of questions in the future, I hope.
You're coming to a much different system than you were in last year at ODU. How are you adjusting yourself to?
Well, I was at the University of Richmond in 2011, and we ran a pro-style offense as well. So I've been around it a little bit. But even at Old Dominion, we threw it around all over the place, but we also ran the ball a little bit. Like people last year at Old Dominion, I don't think people understand. We had a running back who ran for about 900-some yards. So we ran the ball too, and that kind of opened up the pass game, which I think is still very similar philosophy.
When you reviewed those games, what did you identify for Ford and Phillips as, okay, this is what you need to get better at?
I just think experience, and being able to play faster and understand what you're doing, understand why you're doing it, and those things will come along with, again, spring ball and spring reps and knowing that, hey, you guys are in the forefront as far as getting out of there on the field and setting an example and getting better with some leadership qualities and things of that nature. Just little things that playing last year is only going to help them moving forward.
Is that